Well, it looks like we got another cover up within another scandal involving another department or agency of Donald Trump's administration about Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein. We got a cover up inside of a cover up inside of another cover up. Now the question is Allison Gill's reporting on Mueller, she wrote that Ghislaine Maxwell not only got transferred, as we all know, we can see it with our own eyes, from a low security prison to a minimum security camp, a luxury camp in Texas, did that transfer, including the receipts that Mueller, she wrote, saw, and we have a copy of it where it says out. Does that mean she is available and eligible, Ghislaine Maxwell, a convicted child sex predator, to have work release to work at a Starbucks near you? It's bad enough she got transferred that violated Bureau of Prisons policies, because you don't transfer a sex predator. I think you can fill in the blank as to why. You don't put them into a lower security, all women penitentiary to let them, be a predator and have more prey. That's not how you punish the wolf for eating a chicken. You don't stick him in the chicken coop. And you don't let him go work at the local Starbucks to go shopping for, more girls. So that's the reporting, that out means out, and that her classification got changed to allow a sex predator, good friend, best friend of Donald Trump, who gave testimony to Donald Trump's lawyer, Todd Blanche, and then got rewarded with the Beverly Hills of prison camps, that the reporting is she's available for work release. Not that she's on work release, but that she's available for it. Now, here's the cover-up inside of the scandal inside of the cover-up. David Oscar Marcus, the lawyer for Ghislaine Maxwell, who's trying desperately to rehabilitate his client and make her into a victim so that he can get her a pardon, doesn't like the reporting from Mueller, she wrote. Doesn't like the reporting that this person could be working at your local arts and crafts store at Michael's while she's on work release. He hates that story. So he denied it, but he didn't deny it in its entirety. He just said another day, another whatever phony story. The reporting, again, is not that she is on work release. It's that she's eligible for it, to show the depravity of it. And I'm going to cover it all right here on Legal AF and on MeidasTouch. I'm Michael Popok. Here's the scandal. Got new reporting today that we're still working on confirming that the Bureau of Prisons and Mr. William Marshall, the director of the Federal Bureau of Prisons, who's now maybe involved with another cover-up, is now denying that she has work release privileges. All right. That's the least of his worries, by the way. Now, I'll stand by Mueller, she wrote, and Allison Gill all day long. She's an intrepid reporter. She documents her sources. She got a copy of it. She's got the receipts. We put it up on the screen. David Oscar Marcus gives a half-hearted denial, right? Gives a half-hearted denial. Here, we'll put that up on the screen as well. Another day, another false rumor about Ghislaine meant to unnecessarily inflame folks. I get you got a job to do. I get you're trying to be a zealous advocate for your client. Now, by the way, the work release was the same thing that Jeffrey Epstein got when he got that sweetheart deal that was negotiated by Alan Dershowitz, who himself got accused of being involved with the child sex trafficking ring at one point in his career. He also negotiated that sweetheart deal that allowed Jeffrey Epstein, the predator, to stay on the street to prey on people longer. And that's also the reporting in Mueller, she wrote. But you notice that David Oscar Marcus doesn't say, that's that piece of paper, that's not what those codes mean. That's not what that classification means. Not saying that. He's implying, he creates a straw man. We call it in logical reasoning and debate world. He creates an argument that we're not making in order to defeat it. We're not making the argument that she's currently working at the Starbucks. We're saying she's available to, she's eligible to. And now we're waiting for the next round of denials, because the Trump administration now has to, the final nails in their own coffin. They're busy hammering and getting the Bureau of Prisons guy to say, that's not where she's not on work release, or that's not what that means. Look, I'll tell you what's an immutable fact. She got transferred just hours after she gave testimony, which I'm sure is exculpatory, helpful to Donald Trump, because she'll say anything to get out of jail. She was indicted for perjury. She was convicted of being a child sex abuser for girls as young as 14. She'll say anything to get out of a 20-year prison sentence she's only 3 years into. And she wanted to get out of that low security prison, which was up in Florida, because that wasn't fun. She wanted to go to camp. So that happened. David, just speaking of David Oscar Marcus here for a minute, which I invite on the show. He's happy. You want to come on and talk to me about this? Happy to do it. But don't BS the American public about this. She got transferred. She's a sex predator. The Bureau of Prisons guidelines and Department of Justice guidelines say she's not eligible to be transferred. Period, because she's a sexual predator. They're so strict before the Trump administration took over about those rules that even if you pled guilty to something like a simple assault, but you were indicted and charged with sex crimes, but that's not what you were found guilty of or pled guilty to, you're still labeled as a sex predator in the Bureau of Prisons classification system. And they don't get to go to camp. You ever have one of those mornings where coffee just like waves the white flag? Yeah, that was me today. I'm dragging. I got to work out later. And honestly, I need something more than caffeine to get me through. This podcast is sponsored by Peak Pure and Natural, and their product Peak Beets has been my not-so-secret weapon. It's a tasty, easy-to-take powder made from organic fermented beets, which boost their natural nitric oxide power. Over 200,000 jars sold, so I'm not the only one hooked. Here's the science part. Nitric oxide helps your blood vessels relax and expand, so more blood and oxygen get to your brain, heart, and muscles. That means clearer thinking, better workouts, all-day energy, and a stronger heart. Plus, they've added a proprietary mango powder that helps flavor and boost circulation to even your smallest blood vessels. I've been adding a scoop to my morning smoothie. Slightly sweet, a little tart, and I can feel it fast. I get through my workouts, I recover quicker, and I'm not wiped out at the end of the day. It just feels good knowing I'm doing something for my heart health. Right now, you can try Peak Beets for 25% off the regular price with no risk because you're covered by their lifetime money-back guarantee. Head to peaknatural.com/legalaf and use code LegalAF at checkout to give Peak Beets a try for 25% off. Plus, remember, you're covered by their lifetime satisfaction guarantee. This is a limited time offer, so hurry over to peaknatural.com/legalaf so they know I sent you, and make sure you use my promo code LegalAF at checkout to get your 25% discount. So that happened. And then, of course, the rest. Now, what I love about what the Democrats are doing right now, and organizations like Democracy, we got a full court press going on right now with this Epstein issue. And we're trying to get to the bottom of this new cover-up about the Bureau of Prisons. I'll tell you who's also helping: House Democrats and senators like Sheldon Whitehouse, because now they're putting on the pressure. They've got dueling letters going to Marshall and to Pam Bondi demanding all of the files and the records about the transfer from the low security to the minimum security camp, and now about the work release issue, all demanded by on official letterhead of these two people, putting pressure on them. The House Democrats just wrote their own letter in which they said, look, let me read to you from that letter. So you know what we're talking about here. And it's very similar to the letter that Sheldon Whitehouse wrote a week ago. And this is from the committee Democrats on the Judiciary Committee. 2 weeks ago, this is to Marshall, who runs, and Pam Bondi, because he works it's an executive branch office, agency, the Bureau of Prisons Bureau, and it reports to Pam Bondi. 2 weeks ago, you inexplicably transferred Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator, from a federal correctional institution to a far preferable and relatively luxurious minimum security prison camp in Texas. She was 3 years into a 20-year sentence for abusing minor girls as young as 14. The transfer follows Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche's private interviews of Miss Maxwell. Let's stop right there. Where are those interviews? Happened 3 weeks ago. If they were so helpful, you'd think they'd already be out. Another cover-up data point. Put it on you're keeping a big chart at home with red string and push pins. Got another data point for the cover-up. Where is it? Are they editing them? Are they editing film footage related to Epstein again? This action, the Democrats, right, raised substantial concerns that the administration may now be attempting to tamper with a crucial witness. Witness tampering, that sounds like something Donald Trump has done before. Concealed President Trump's relationship with a convicted sex offenders, best friends with both Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein, and coaxed Miss Maxwell into providing false or misleading testimony in order to protect the president. And it violates DOJ and BOP policies about the transfer. And we want to also demand all documents about the interview and the sudden transfer and greater freedom for inmates that she's now been given, which is off limits to sex offenders. Senator Whitehouse did the exact same thing a week ago in demanding his files. This is what a party out of power, the Democrats in the minority position, need to do. They send letters, they demand files. When Bondi and Marshall come before these committees, they grill them, they roast them the way that they can, they hold shadow hearings. This is what you have to do until you get back into midterms. The other things we do is we talk to each other here. We provide all the information that you need. You know, Legal AF, MeidasTouch, Katie Fang News Channel. We are drilling down heavy artillery on this issue. We're unrelenting in its coverage. The cover-up inside the conspiracy, inside yet another cover-up. And then public interest groups are running into court, like Democracy Forward, which has an amazing playlist, joins me every week over on Legal AF, the YouTube channel. And they have filed the first Freedom of Information Act request on an emergency expedited basis in front of Judge Chutkan of all judges, the judge that was responsible for the criminal trial of Donald Trump about DC election interference. That case is now with a summary judgment has been filed in that case, asking for expedited ruling by the judge to get the damn Epstein files out of the Trump administration, all 300 gigabytes and 2 tractor-trailer loads of information, and produce it. And then the senators and Congress people are doing this. This is how we join together. And I'm sorry, we may be like a dog with a bone, but we're not letting go of this bone. Think about what it indicates. The President of the United States needs a convicted child sex offender to vouch for him? What does that tell you about the depravity and immorality of the person occupying the White House if you didn't know it already? We'll continue to follow it all right here, every hour on MeidasTouch, every hour on Legal AF YouTube channel. Until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.